Welcome back. This is Able Differently. Violence has negative impact, be it physical or psychological. Africanor aims to drive social justice and development in African communities. This is through training, mentorship, and mobilization to ensure that they resort to nonviolent approaches. Take a look.
Violence in most cases has a negative impact on those who experience or witness it. The physical and psychological harm caused can lead to disability, for instance, depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. In response to this, Africa Center for Nonviolence and Sustainable Impact, AFRINOV, is among organizations that have stepped in to curb such cases.
My name is Beatrice Atieno. I work with Africanor as a program officer for peace building and nonviolence action. We are operating as an organization in Nairobi region, Western region, Nyanza, and North Rift. So each of the region has different offices, and there are staff members who are staying there. We are operating for different programs. One of them is peace building and nonviolence actions, and we have another one on good governance and democracy. Another one is on climate change, and the other one is economic development for peace.
The program aims at driving social justice and development in Africa by training, mentoring, and mobilizing communities through nonviolence approaches.
The program itself started in Western in 2010, then 2011 in Nairobi, then 2012 in North Rift, then in Nyanza 2014.
As Beatrice confirms, social, political, and economic factors as contributors of violence and disability, she lists the disability organizations they have worked with.
I work with a pool of community resource people that we trained during the inception of this program. Yes, we had trained a pool of young people, and especially those are young people in Nairobi. Other regions were mixed up. Who could support us in mobilizing groups right at the grassroots, and facilitate and also lead in nonviolent campaigns.
Beatrice says the organization employs various sustainability tactics in aiding the operations.
I am leading a group of resource people on Turning the Tide program and other peace building programs that we have within the organization. So we ensure that the resource people together with groups, because the resource people do not work in isolation. They work with organized groups in different communities. And these groups includes CBOs, self-help groups, youth groups, and persons with disabilities.
Among the challenges encountered in their service delivery is meager resources.
Some of the issues that we have dealt with and are still dealing with are women and children and persons with disability rights. And other issues are that's part of what I've said. Others are on land rights, and others are just to ensure that government provides good service delivery by the government. And so in all these areas, we have really achieved a lot, whereby I can give an example. Let me start by giving an example of a group living with disability that we have managed to work with. Some of the groups I can mention are independent of persons living with disability Kenya, IDPK, and that is based in Nairobi. Another group of disability that we also work with is Muungano Disabled Special Group. Another one is called Disability Agenda, is in Western, and another one is Trans Nzoia Youth Living with Disability. And many other groups.
So far, the success stories are a source of motivation. Part and parcel of their future plans is to spread their wings to the community.
What we do, like when we meet these groups, is we offer them training, because this training will offer them some of these skills and knowledge on what they actually need to do and how to address issues non-violently, especially social injustices. Yeah, so all these groups, once they gained these in the skills and knowledge, what they have done is they have been able to understand themselves first, and to understand that they are worth and they are capable of doing something, especially bringing change in their community. And so we learned that people living with disabilities, they look at themselves as minority, and some of the reasons that they say that is how they have been handled in this country and in the communities. People do not recognize them, and also they do not occupy spaces that they need to be like any other normal person, like in government positions and yes, in the community. So through these trainings, they identify some of these things. And so once they identify, what we do as an organization, we empower them on how to actually make follow-ups, address these issues through nonviolent means. And so one good example is on bursary. You find that these people living with disabilities, they have also children. Some of them are disabled, some of them are just normal, but they are not able to access some of these resources. One reason is they are not aware, because they look at themselves as minority and they don't see anybody like giving them support and all that. So they don't really they don't have a lot of information. Yeah, so one of the things that we did well was to make sure that we create awareness about some of these services, that they are also part and parcel of the people, the community that is supposed to be accessing these services, the bursary forms. They can be able to do that. And so they managed to do that, to access some of these bursaries to the children and other children of people living with disabilities. And one other thing that they have managed as a group is abolition block. Yes, we've had one of the abolition blocks in Dagoretti, Nairobi, in one of the markets that is not functioning. And so because this group comes from within, and from our training, they were able to identify a resource that they can be able to occupy and benefit from it as people living with disability. And so when they identified that, they started making the right follow-ups with the government administration, is to make sure that they access, because what they wanted is they wanted to access it so that they can be able to operate it and gain some income from it. Yes, so they made follow-ups and through the leaders, the local leaders, and they managed to be given that. First of all, it was repaired because it was all bushy. And I also have some of the photos here with us. It was all bushy and no one was seeing that this is a resource that needs to be taken care of and the community can benefit from it. So they saw that, and after making follow-ups, it was cleared and it was repaired because it has never been used. It had never been used by then for close to like 10 years.
To aid in pushing such agendas that benefit the society, we should all strive to be agents of change.
Another way is the social life. We have a group in Trans Nzoia that works with the border riders. Why did they decide to do that? They decided to do that because many youth have found themselves in the disability status from riding border borders, because of the heckless driving of border borders. So they have taken an initiative to empower border riders, because some of them are in that state from that, riding border. Yes, it's not that they were born with disability.
Abled differently.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
Article 25 of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities states that state parties shall, Part B, provide those health services needed by persons with disabilities, specifically because of their disabilities, including early identification and intervention as appropriate, and services designed to minimize and prevent further disabilities, including among children and older persons.
Here's the tip of the day.
Persons with disabilities who qualify to apply for tax exemptions are supposed to apply, and then they are supposed to take their application forms to our county offices. The National Council of Persons with Disabilities is in all the 47 counties, but for them who are able to bring it at the headquarters, and then they are able to bring it here. Then we do the data entry, we put them in our system. And then when we plan for vetting, SMS are system generated in inviting the clients to their specific stations where they are supposed to go for vetting.
I believe every one of us out there is doing something to bring change, in whatever small way it is. We appreciate. And so I would really advise that everybody out there to try and do something to bring change in their community. Let us not wait for somebody else to come and effect change for us, because we are all capable. We have the power to effect change in the community.
Abled differently.
And that's where we come to the end of the show for today. And from this episode, remember to fill your tax exemption form
and also solve our issues without using violence. I've been your host, Ruth Mweni.
And me, Jane Theory.
Goodbye.
We are here and we are strong. Let's be counted as we move on. Make a difference, change lives as we tell our different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.